that.
That's good already.
I'll catch the video later. Okay. Gotta wait for
Joshua.
You're up to no good. I can see something
I know.
going on.
Shenanigans out there. We're waiting for Josh. You can.
Stand at ease, sailor.
No.
Shenanigans?
Oh shit! Who's that?
Who's me? What'd you do? Hey, you got in a fight with the toilet?
Did you really?
I was throwing it in a dumpster.
Porcelain.
The porcelain.
What is this? Is this all?
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order at 11:07. Please join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hoorah.
Please call the roll.
Chairman Tickett,
Present.
Trustee Hillier,
Present.
Trustee Penna,
Present.
Teacher Erica.
Present.
Okay, all present accounted for. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8, 2023 meeting.
So moved. Second discussion.
Is he serious?
So, in my email, no?
It does not need corrected, first of all, because we did that just before the meeting started. So it was actually in the work session, we didn't go to executive session in the last meeting during the regular meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And to discuss economic development assistance, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way that was worded in the minutes, and so long as it's worded that way in the motion, it was appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All in favor?
Oh, I did.
Aye.
I already said aye.
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 Summary of the work session, please.
Today during the work session, we had Rick Lundstrom from Knez Homes to discuss the Bacon Road property and the riparian setback issues. We discussed the 2024 meeting schedule for the trustees, the upcoming Christmas party, regional detention basin that's been completed, and the TIF funds related to that. The Lake County Planning Commission received approval for a grant study at the Menor Marsh, so we discussed that. The fire chief discussed the run calls for the previous month, the Toys for Tots drive that will be held at Mark's on December 10th, and the service director discussed an employee that's been out on a non-work related injury. We have 2 employees retiring in 2024, and the upcoming options for brush collection with Kurtz Brothers as opposed to the current method that we're using now. And the zoning director discussed the upcoming recreational marijuana resolution changes. We also went into executive session. What time that was, I'll figure it out. To discuss the employment and or possible discipline of a public employee, specifically within the service department, and the possible upcoming threat or imminent litigation against the township.
Okay. Any old business from the floor?
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive. I just want to thank the 3 trustees for putting on the ballot about the road patrol for the sheriff's department. And I know it passed by 29 and they're certifying the vote. I talked to Dante and all that stuff, and the board was supposed to certify it. Then after that, it's an automatic recount. 0.5%, 1% less brings up an automatic recount. So the thing about it is, I just want to thank the people of Painesville Township that passed it. People do not understand what our country would be without law enforcement. And so I just want to thank you 3 of you for doing that. And I thank the people of Painesville Township. I've lived in Painesville Township over 65 years. First meeting I came to was his grandfather. So don't tell me what Painesville Township's like. When I listen to people talk, I say, you people know nothing. It's like when I go to meetings. That's why I do my research and go to D.C. and go down to Columbus and all that. You hear people talking and they really don't know what they're saying. But anyhow, remember, Ohio Constitution, Ohio Revised Code, Administrative Code are the 3 top laws in the country. In the state. U.S. Constitution is a type federal law. So anyhow, and then you have some court cases. that may be out there that they came to the so forth. I won't get into all that. But anyhow, I just wanted to thank you three for that. And I think this gentleman here, people don't realize what they go through every day. And I'm sure you all saw FBI Director Ray. I follow him all the time. You can go to, you can go to press releases like for the Border Patrol, DEA, and all that. You'll never see it in the media, and people think, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, do your research, folks. And the thing about, hopefully, Ray said there's something imminent that could happen. So, I mean, think about it. I already have heard from DC that Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis are here in the United States. They are members of that. And I'm all for immigration. All I ask is you do it legally. That's all I ask. And I've been working on that for 25 years. So if somebody wants to debate it, I'll gladly debate them. So anyhow, I'm just saying it makes a really tough job for these people. It really does. So I just wanted to get that in, and thank to the three of you again. And thank you for listening to your grandfather. I know he did on the same thing. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
John.
Any new business from the floor? Okay, Lake County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning. For the month of October 2023, we responded to 1,323 calls for service, 3 of which were injury accidents, 12 damage to vehicle accidents. We arrested an adult female for OVI and underage consumption, an adult male for disorderly conduct at Giant Eagle, juvenile male for domestic violence, assault, and criminal damaging on Kirkstone, an adult male for felonious assault and having a weapon while intoxicated. That was Oakwood Boulevard. That was a SWAT response regarding an overnight issue a male had with another male, and it was taken care of peacefully, and the male was taken into custody without too much of an issue. An adult female for obstruction of justice, and juvenile male for disorderly conduct and assault at the school, an adult male for OVI, an adult female for possession of drugs, meth, and other drug offenses, an adult male for temporary protection order violation of felony of the 3rd degree due to priors, possession of drugs, and then an adult male for domestic violence and assault, adult female for domestic violence and assault, an adult female for OVI and domestic violence, and an adult male for OVI. 46 alarms for residents and commercial, 22 citations for various traffic violations, 201 warnings for various traffic violations, 24 animal complaints, 28 disturbances, 14 domestic violence cases that did not have to result in an arrest, 10 mental health and emergency admissions where somebody had to be taken to the hospital because of a mental health crisis. We usually transport them to keep a squad available for other issues unless they're having a medical issue. So we do handle those all the way to the hospital. 75 suspicious circumstances, vehicles and persons, 40 traffic complaints, and 22 welfare checks, to name a few. We will have a deputy at the Christmas party. Deputy Leonello will be present for that. And any questions, concerns? All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Service.
So we will be having our final curbside leaf collection this Saturday. Residents need to have the bags out to the curb by 7:30 a.m. And this will be the final curbside collection. And Saturday is also going to be the final day that the brush and leaf drop area will be open.
Saturday.
Yes.
And what time? 7. What time's that open? 7 to 3.
Well, Saturday it'll be open 7:30 to 3. The whole time we're out collecting leaves, we'll have that area open.
Okay.
And then just a reminder to residents that when there's more than 2 inches of snow on the ground, there's no parking on the streets. We ran into that today. There was quite a few cars parked on the street, and it was a lot of snow and caused a few difficult areas. But
Hope you didn't truly run into it.
That's 2 inches of new snow, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
you got snow on the ground for a month,
right,
okay.
right, yeah. Okay,
That's it.
that's
All
all
right,
I have.
thanks. And if you needed to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fire department? Okay. Zoning, I know we had a couple things to.
Yeah, to cover from the work session. So trustee Kenna had wanted to discuss the temporary signs. I don't know if that's still something that you want to discuss
I think
now
it's-
or
No, I think it's still an issue that, so Ryan Holmes is again putting out their temporary signs on Fridays.
Yeah, so really working this,
Yeah.
circumvent the.
And then, so the response, so George Davis did reply back and he coordinated with Ryan Holmes. But again, the same story we got before from Ryan Holmes is, well, the company we were using, before it was, they didn't know. Now it's, well, they had to use a different company because the regular person was out. And now they switched again. I mean, it's the same story over and over. And I think we should fine.
And
Ryan
like you said,
Holmes.
it's fine if it's one thing if they're putting them out on a Monday and like, oh, we didn't know, but when they're putting them up on a Friday and pulling them down Sunday nights to try and
Yeah.
skirt the system, it's clear that they are obviously knowingly trying to.
And I mean, we went
circumvent what
round and
have in
round
place, so.
with Ryan Holmes on previous developments.
Every
so,
development.
So they were aware of it. It's not like they're new to the community. So this is really a repeat in my mind. It's something we addressed with them before. It's a repeat.
So are they down now?
Yes,
Yes.
they have been removed.
So moving forward, should we set?
Why even going forward right now? I mean,
Well, they're
two separate
gone.
signs. Can we take them to court? Whatever.
Similar. It's because it's a criminal charge. Because they did it, we can file against them, and so just because they've since rectified it, we can still fine them for committing the offense, but it has to be given by the judge. So we still have to go to criminal court, and then we have to request of Malcheski to issue a fine to Ryan Holmes for the violation.
Is it more headache on our end?
I think that's a better question for.
I mean, I don't want to create
it's
paperwork
not-
and headache for us.
But at some point,
Yeah.
But again, at some point, unless we start,
unless we do something about it, it'll just continue, right? And they'll have more excuses.
It's not terribly hard. What we have to do is drop the complaint, and then it's gets filed in the court, and then you have the arraignment, the pretrial. If they want to try it, they could try it. It would be a bench trial at that point, and then whatever the conviction is, if there is one, at that point, on behalf of the township, we can ask for a fine of up to $500 per day of violation per sign, essentially, and go from there.
And do those come to the township or do those enter into the court fine system?
Well, it does go into the court's fine system, but it does filter down to us.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's my thought. I mean, and we have emails from them basically admitting to doing it, right? So if they want to if they want to go to a trial,
Yeah.
we have emails.
I
I mean,
And
I believe
well,
we have
the
emails
proof
from
of the
before as
violation
well,
in
so-
itself is the photo.
Yeah.
Here's a sign. It's a temporary sign. It's not
Right.
permitted.
And we have habitual offenders across the board, right? So I almost think it's time to start putting these types of repercussions in place for those that we serve them an official notice, right? Anybody we see, hey, you're not allowed to do this. Here is your warning. And then if they do it again, we've sent them a letter. We've told them this way we don't have people trying to skirt this because it happens all the time. And you see the same signs all the time, weekends, etc., tax season, whatever it may be. So I think moving forward, we sort of implement a strategy to crack down on the habitual offenders, that we give them notice, kind of set our standard as here's first notice, you get a letter, and then after that we've given them a warning and just go after follow the same procedure with everybody that does it.
So yeah, it's your call right now if you want to move forward on a criminal case, or if you want to, now that everyone's aware, and say, all right, if the next time you're filing, or you do it now. It's
Ryan Holmes they've been aware.
Yeah, I think, and we've told them before, so they've had their warnings. So I think I'm fine with
all
proceeding.
right. So Sean, if you don't mind, contact Mady and we'll move forward on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and their continuation of the offense is constantly utilizing taxpayer dollars to address it. So I
Yeah,
mean, they
right.
should
Recoup some of that time and money spent on them already. Okay.
And then my last one.
Question. Hang on a second. So do we have documentation that they've already had a prior written warning?
We have email
Communication.
communication
Prior to this violation?
prior to this
To be honest,
violation.
I think when I was here the
Cali.
first time,
Right.
there were
For Cali Farms.
Yeah.
Cali Farms.
Kelly Farms.
Oh, it
or
just goes on
even-
everywhere.
Fairway
Fairway
Meadows.
Meadows, same
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
It goes on everywhere. I get it. I just want to make sure we got written notification prior to this incident.
And we also have written, I think, admission of doing it, right?
I think even this time around, even knowing they weren't supposed to, but it still
Because
happened.
they said they hired a vendor or a contractor
Okay.
to put them up.
All right.
Well, that's what they do. So I texted you guys the phone number, that contact. That's the
Okay.
East Side manager for them.
Speaking of zoning violations, before we get to the other item, can you crack down on Dollar General again?
Yeah, so I have a
And,
call out to the regional, basically letting them know they need to expand their storage
Enclosure,
area,
yeah,
and they have
okay.
enough space to do that, and it's not going to
Okay.
require much more than that. So
Sorry to bug you on Thanksgiving.
it's not bugging me. I drive. I see it every day. I see it every day.
Okay. And then lastly, you had one more, right?
All right, so for this last one, Dave, when he received the application, Dave Radacci gave me a call, and this is for the proposed map amendment for the parcels along Northridge Avenue to commercial. For some reason, Dave is opposed to this change. Now, in our comprehensive plan, it does specifically state rezone industrial zone land along Northridge Road, US 20 for commercial or planned office development. That's what it says, which is what we're doing. But Dave came back with, and then he came back with concerns about us potentially, potential litigation. I let him know that I sent out certified letters to all of the property owners, which we aren't required to do, but I did anyway. So I sent that out, both regular mail and certified, to each property owner, notifying them of our intent to rezone. I've only heard from one, maybe two. I don't know if Sean talked to someone, but I have only talked to one property owner for the landscape company, and I haven't heard from anyone else.
Johnny Yardmaster.
Yeah, Yardmaster. I'm not sure what the concerns are. I did respond to his email, which I forwarded to. Well, actually, I put a copy in my reports. But his three concerns, or four rather, was if we rezone to B3, then it potentially opens up more spaces for undesirable uses, adult businesses specifically, to move in.
I thought adult business were industrial.
No, they're in B3. Yeah, that was a whole nother thing. But so they're in B3. So that was his one concern, which I don't wholly disagree with. I mean, we could rezone to B2 and still.
How far there's something to do with schools and churches, correct?
Yeah.
So how far is it by as the crow flies?
Yes.
You don't know as the crow flies. You don't know that term.
That's
Straight meaning
Straight
not by
Oh,
roads. by-
yes. As a crow flies, Jesus.
So
It's a straight line.
is it is Madison Avenue or Riverview? Is that over 1,000 feet?
It would be. Just teasing was permitted in that area that it is. So anything further
Yeah, but I'm saying,
west could potentially.
well, yeah,
be
but you're going up
outside.
and you're getting up closer up behind Riverview with those, right? The school. Aren't you talking about Gibbs?
Yeah, from Madison Avenue.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, that's at least a half mile, isn't it?
As the crow flies.
Yeah.
That's more than that.
I will never forget that now.
That's got to be
As the crow flies,
Is
is that the
it?
first time you heard that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Who says
She's
that?
a youngster.
Oh, that's got to be more.
Everybody
It's more
is.
than
She's a youngster.
That's how you measure. That's how you measure distance.
Yeah,
with
right. Yeah, you have to
direct
do recording.
distances.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's
You
not
know,
me.
back in my
That's not
day.
my demographic, guys.
Crows are flying.
I didn't walk uphill both ways to school, thank you.
How about
Um,
as the drone flies?
Yeah, there
As
you
the
go.
drone flies, there you go.
I just straight line. So that was one concern, which I don't wholly disagree with. I think we could still consider B2 and meet our goals. Another was that if we rezoned three specific properties, one being owned by Gibbs, the other for Yardmaster, and the last for the self-storage unit, that we would be creating unnecessary burdens on those businesses. But the safe storage, they're built out. They don't have room to expand. Oh, and Painesville City Power, which I was like, I informed him that they're a utility. They aren't
A business.
they aren't subject to our zoning requirements. So I'm not really sure. Then he wrote a letter to us for their recommendation, which is also on before you. And on the comments, this is the only thing I could think of because I don't really understand what the concerns are, because all of the concerns are things that we anyway. One thing that sticks out to me is that there is a lack of industrial land in the eastern part of Lake County as it is, and so maybe it's a concern about the lack of that use being available on this side, but I don't see that as being.
Well, not only that, with the potential, what's coming,
We don't want it in.
we don't want it there. That's the whole point.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think I don't see any reason to.
To
There's
listen to them.
Unstated underlying cause for this viewpoint that's coming across. We don't know what that is,
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
but
like
to me it's
there's
irrelevant.
something more.
Yeah.
But I just wanted
So by
to,
zoning to B2, that
We
would
would-
alleviate any concerns with
the adult business, yeah. Matt,
and what.
Yeah. So
that's gonna be
one of your questions was if there could be like a taking issue.
yeah.
So I do not believe so at all. Number one, if the property is currently in use, that'd be a legal non-conforming use.
Right.
Yes.
So
You're not
you're not
taking
taking their property.
Right.
It's they can
And-
keep with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then if the property is vacant, it's the township has a right to zone properties in conformance with their comprehensive plan. We have public hearings where the property owners can speak and potentially take action at that point. But nonetheless, the township has a right to utilize its powers for zoning purposes. And if it's a vacant property, I mean, how long has this had vacant? They could have had the option to build what they wanted or sell it and develop it however they wanted for X number of days, months, years before that property got rezoned, and then at that point it'd be a legal non-conforming use.
Mhm.
But if the property's vacant and it's rezoned, it is what it is. And I would opine at that point that it's not a taking issue.
And did you say you received a call or comments from the landscape company?
I did get a call from
Rick.
yes, thank you, about it. They were actually interested in selling one of their parcels to Waste Management for like a staging site for garbage trucks. So I'm really glad that we're doing this now because
Yeah.
but that was really it. He asked if they were fine. And they said, yeah, you absolutely can continue. And they said, well, I'm assuming that the garbage truck staging area would no longer be permitted. And I said, no.
So by going from B3 to B2, that would alleviate everybody's concerns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
they-
the potential.
Well, the county only wants us to rezone the stuff in yellow, I think, right?
Yes.
B2.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying if their concern is the I to B3 and said B2, then I'm not necessarily concerned with what they want as far as which properties. It's just changing the zoning to put that layer of protection in for that area to prevent, not to prevent, but to allow only certain businesses rather. Then do we just go to B2 and
Could we just work on this next work session? This is a rather detailed discussion with a lot of ins and outs, and there's a lot to review here. But ultimately, and the planning commission has made recommendations in the past, and they haven't understood what we were trying to do, and we haven't always accepted their recommendations. So we don't have to accept it, but let's have a thorough discussion on
sounds
this
good. Moving on.
so we can really get down to the details.
Okay, moving on. Next meeting.
Thank you.
I'll add it to my report for next meeting
Okay.
so that you all can review it in the meantime. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, legal
I have nothing further to add.
administrator.
I have nothing additional.
Sir, I have a question, something for Holly. I would probably go to Bill, but he's not here. So, on a side note, I noticed Riverview finally cleaned out that basin. They got rid of all the cattails, and that was good
It's
to
worse
see.
now.
And this has been going on for years. So they finally did it. And who's the guy, the treasurer who came to our meeting?
Gary Platko.
Yeah, Gary. So Gary spoke about, he says they're going to be getting to it shortly. So I drove by it this past week and I saw they did. But one of the things that still needs to get done is the elevations within that are not correct because there's a sediment buildup in a certain couple areas and that changes the elevations. And so they need to dredge it properly. So they've done part of the job by getting rid of the cattails. Thank you very much. But there's still more work to go. So if you would communicate that to the school board, it'd be appreciated. Or have Bill. Thank you.
Funny part is now that it's done, I think it looked better with the
That might
cattails.
be in the process because they had to do like a spray system because they
Right.
had to put signs up all around there.
Yeah.
It's not a 2-day.
That might be this coming
You have to do it
spring.
in stages.
And that's fine. If that's the answer, then that's wonderful news. But I just want to make sure that's part of the equation because that needs to be fixed
Okay.
completely. Thank you.
You have anything fiscal?
No.
Trustees, before I move to the resolution, have you guys gotten any feedback or complaints from people in Township Park and on Park Road regarding
Electricity.
electricity outages
I
recently?
have a call in to Wendy. She's out of town.
Okay, I just didn't know if they had gotten the same. I've been getting some. I didn't know if they
Yeah,
were
I got
getting.
Didn't personally, but your fellow trustee did, who passed it along to me.
And I got one for Park Road and Painesville Township Park.
Oh, you got the one over there too.
Yeah.
It was Thatcher actually is the road.
Okay, I don't know. They just said Park Road.
Well, they
They
said
just
Park
said-
Road area. I said I
Yeah.
tried to detail where it came from, but I got the message to Harley. She's handling
And
it.
then I got one for Painesville Township Park as well.
I got one from there as well.
Okay.
So
So-
where?
Aaron's
I
Question.
figured when I was just that's what I was
Okay.
gonna ask. Just reach out to Wendy and see.
So
what's
where
going
in
on.
Painesville Township Park did you have it? The
I
concern?
did get an address. You just said Painesville Township Park. It's been,
Probably like Kellingsworth because they've been like
no, that's not the.
Well, I'm
it is.
sure. I'm sure when something that whole neighborhood goes down,
Oh.
probably when.
Are you talking?
Station 3 goes down. I mean, it went down like 5 times the other day.
Yeah. So it's been pretty bad. They said recently. I
Okay.
think they said the number was. This person said 6 times in the last X amount of days. So that's what I was just gonna ask. Contact Wendy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Good
And I
enough.
just wanted
Thank
to see
you.
if you guys had
Yep.
any of the same. Okay. All right.
Working on it.
I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Brightly in the amount of $15,722.44 for the annual zoning software fee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that formally known as?
Yes.
Ah, I
formally
like
known
it.
as.
All right. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to UH Occupational Health in the amount of $4,041 for physicals in the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are we going to address that soon, moving forward?
I had emailed our law director a couple weeks ago, and we just talked about it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are working on it. Okay, thanks. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to OCV LLC in the amount of $4,995 for annual support for the township app.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Okay.
So our initial, right, we did the initial setup, and that covered the first couple years. Is that correct?
3.
Okay,
yeah,
so now we're out of that, and we're into this.
This next renewal. Yes.
the next renewal's out of the 4 year. Okay.
Okay, and I don't know.
This renewal is just for 1 year.
Have we gotten over the hurdles with notification? We were having issues, right? with
Yeah, I think everything's
notification?
they fixed it.
Yeah, my phone goes off.
So my thing is I think we this year obviously we're at a point where we need to continue moving forward, but do we spend the next before the next renewal finding if there I just feel like for $5,000 there's not much support to warrant that. So do we spend the next, before the next saying is there a way to reduce this to since you guys don't really do anything for us? We
Or if they do, what do they do?
to justify moving forward for this kind of expense, or is it stuff that we really aren't going to change anything that we can do on just a hosting fee and then some sort of cost per service call versus a flat fee, since we don't. I mean, how often? The only time we call them was when it's not working right?
Right.
And that change we made to the face. Did you guys do that, or did they do that?
To what face?
The face, the landing page where we changed the logo.
We got one of the logos. We swapped it out for something
We
else.
swapped it
Remember
out.
the COVID button?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did we do that, or they did that?
Oh, they did it for me because I couldn't even get logged in at that point. I think I was here all.
So that's what I'm getting at. Is like, are those things that we can do on our own moving forward, and then just set? We can have like a base hosting fee, and then they can just charge us a service call if we need it. Figure out some sort of schedule that instead of paying the money for the full. Okay. Thank you. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to adopt a resolution to approve payment to Lexipol in the amount of $10,009.20 to pay for the annual fire policy manuals and daily training bulletins.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
They were slow to. So I didn't know if there was a.
This was
discussion
discussed
coming.
last month.
Do we need to add a separate resolution for them to agree to, for me to send a letter to the BOE?
I got it right here.
That's next.
So that's what I was going to ask. Did we do? Did we?
Before we got to that, I don't know if you technically voted for it. Did you say aye?
Did you say aye?
Aye.
It doesn't matter.
All right, I know.
It's two.
Just for record keeping purposes.
Did we do new ones for the public, or do I have to amend it first and then?
Do we need to
This-
amend the
number 5.
agenda?
Since we have a new resolution.
So, yeah, because you don't have it written on there.
Okay. So I need a resolution to amend the agenda to
The motion to amend. the
agenda to add a resolution authorizing the township administrator send the director of the Lake County Board of Elections a letter waiving the township's right to have a written notice of a recount for issue 3.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I need a motion to adopt a resolution to authorize the township administrator to send the director of the Lake County Board of Elections a letter waiving the township's right to have written notice of a recount for issue 3.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anything else?
No.
No.
Okay. Motion to adjourn 11:39.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.